Well, guys, it's SkyMasters here. Hit that like and subscribe because we're talking shit today. Literally talking some shit. I always wanted to know, well, I didn't know that I needed to know, what the largest fossilized human turd ever was. Now that I know, it's a fascinating story. And, well, it's just my kind of story, too. I want to shout out to a friend of mine on Facebook, good old Bubbles, for bringing up a story like this. Story's originally from here, Archaeology Aesthetic. This is the largest fossilized human turd ever found right here in front of you. Look at that thing. It's pretty impressive, man. Can you imagine taking the turd? And, I mean, if you could go back and tell this guy that we were just talking about his turd and that it's a famous turd, I mean, would he believe you? He would just, you know, it's flabbergasting that we're here looking at this turd and talking about it, all right? It belonged to a sick Viking in the 9th century AD and has been valued at over $39,000. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Could you imagine telling him that? That's a crazy turd. And I don't know how they think that it's sick. It looks pretty healthy to me. That's a healthy looking turd. At 8 inches long and 2 inches wide, yeah. It's pretty girthy. It's not too bad. Yeah, I've had better. A specimen was discovered in York, northwest England in 1972 by a constructor working during the building of Lloyds TSB branch in an area once ruled by Norse warriors. It takes its name from an institution, Lloyds Bank. All right. The huge poo had another red letter moment in 1991 when dung scientist Andrew Jones appraised the piece in the name of insurance. This is the most exciting piece of excrement I've ever seen, he told the Wall Street Journal at the time. It is in its own way, it's as irreplaceable as the crown jewels. I mean, I guess so, man. I guess so. Paleoscatologist. That's a great word to read. Paleoscatologist. I think I found my new profession, man. A paleoscatologist have been able to discern much from the Girthley deposit, including that its producer ate mostly meat and bread, which was likely a Viking, lived approximately in the 9th century AD, and had a gut full of parasites. Indeed, the manure was found to be infested with whipworms and mawworm eggs, suggesting the Viking often had an upset stomach and other gastrointestinal problems. I got to say these big old words today. Today, the log resides in a glass box at the Jorvik Viking Center in York, England, where in 2003, visitors dropped it, breaking it into 3 pieces. It has since been repaired. Who dropped the poo? Who dropped this piece of poo? Now, that needs an elaboration right there in itself. The center is proud to call itself the Turd's final resting place, even hosting a virtual workshop in February called Poo Day, in which fans learned about the dung's significance. Now, that is just crazy. Poo Day? They have an actual Poo Day? That's absolutely unheard of there, man. How do I get back to my last video here? There we go. So we have a story from ChatGTP. It's going to write a little story out. It's a truly epic tale that proves history can just be as funny as fiction. All right, so let's get this story going. Let me get a little bit of, there we go. Here we go. All right. The world was recently rocked by the discovery of a colossal Viking poo at Lloyds Bank. Yes, you heard it right, a coprolite, which is just a fancy word for fossilized feces. It was found right under the unsuspecting noses of bankers. Buckle up, because this one is a wild ride through the annals of history and hilarity, okay? Chapter 1, the unexpected find. Picture this, a quiet day at Lloyds Bank. Employees are minding their own business when suddenly archaeologists' dreams come true. When digging for the foundations of a new ATM, they stumble across the motherlode of all coprolites, a Viking poo so enormous it can make even the most battle-hardened Norse warrior blush, okay? The great scientific debate. Scientists from all around the world flocked to the scene, armed with magnifying glasses. If it's so big, I don't know why they need it. Maybe it was the eggs or something, right? And a sense of humor. The heated debate that followed was not about the authenticity of the poop, but rather how a Viking managed to produce something such colossal proportions. Theories range from Vikings with perchance of feasting on legendary Norse god trying to send a message to future generations. What is ChatGPT coming up? That was hard to read. A colossal proportions theorized, ranging from Vikings with a penchant for feasting to a legendary Norse god trying to send a message to future generations. Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's taking a shit and going, they're going to really look at this and tell something was happening. They're going to understand this one. I mean, there's a few that I thought were like that, but I never thought it was seriously. Maybe I should start encasing some of my poo in some glass things that might have something more to talk about than I even know. All right. Meanwhile, the bankers at Lloyd's were left in awe. Who would have thought that beneath the polished floor and the fancy suits lay a relic from a time when Vikings roamed the earth? Some employees even joked that the Coprolite must have contained hidden treasures. After all, what else could explain such an expressive deposit, That's pretty funny. To celebrate this unexpected find, the town organized its first ever Great Poop Parade. That's probably actually happened. Floats shaped like Viking ships cruised down the streets, and children giggled as they tossed chocolate replicas of the famous Coprolite to the crowd. It was a day of laughter, joy, and newfound appreciation for the bizarre wonders of history. Chapter 5, Lesson Learned. As the laughter echoed through the town, people couldn't help but marvel at the weird and wonderful ways of which history reveal itself. The importance of the giant Viking poo at Lloyds Bank wasn't just the size, but in the way that it brought people together, reminding everybody that even in the unlikeliest places, that good laughs can be shared in a sheer moment of a good laugh and a shared moment of sheer disbelief can bridge the gap between the past and the present. And so the late tale of Lloyds Bank's Coprolite entered the annals of history, and not just as a scientific discovery, but as a testament to the enduring power of humor. After all, who would have thought that the giant Viking poo could just bring so much joy to the world? And who knows what other surprises history have in store for us? Perhaps the next great discovery will be even funnier. That's a pretty cool story of the Lloyds Bank's Coprolite there, guys. Who knew? I didn't know, and now you know. And now we both know. And why don't you share this with somebody that doesn't know? And remember, I love you guys. Hit that like and subscribe if you want to, if you found this shit funny. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Call somebody up and tell them that you love them.